I remember jumping this counter. The minute I jumped the counter, my bro jumps the counter, we got them down. Down! Within seconds, they are on the ground. Hi, I'm Larry Lawton, America's biggest jewel thief. Join me as I walk you through my past robberies, how I planned them, executed them, and ultimately got caught. I'm going to show you how we did things in prison, like making a tattoo gun, making wine, making white lightning. It's going to be very educational. These are the untold stories. Hey everyone, Larry Lawton here. I got a good video for you today. It's one of my robberies. Before I get started, please check us out on the YouTube member program, Patreon member program. Please subscribe if you haven't. People ask me that all the time, how you get subscribers. I don't even know. I just know that we put out this content and people like it, they subscribe. So if you like our content, please subscribe. This video is gonna be about my Connecticut robbery. One of the robberies I committed on my string of 20 plus robberies. Now, how it goes is, I would be in Florida. I didn't have a specific time to do things. I didn't say, okay, every 2-3 months I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna plan it. It went by money. I partied a lot, I hung out a lot, I had a lot of bills, if you wanna call it bills, with other people and people I supported, parties I threw, that kind of stuff. But I had a lot of money. But whenever my safe in my house got under 50 grand, I knew it was time to start thinking about a robbery. I know this is crazy, that's how I live. Now, I always had money to go to New York. If I was ever called to New York to the wise guys and then they needed something from me, I would take care of that. And I was always on the lookout for hustles. That's what a guy does like me. It was all about the hustle. That's what we did, period. So at this time, this is in I think that robbery's in probably 93 or 4. 93 or 4 was the Connecticut robbery, and it was in Bridgeport, Connecticut. It was in downtown. A beautiful downtown. They have a wealthy area downtown. And what I remembered the most, I remember the whole robbery very well, but I remember the landscape. Because it was like on a hill. Like the downtown was a hill and it had spots that went straight in. They had a bunch of stores going up, I guess an incline, a hill you want to call it. And there's store after store after store. And there's dress shops and there's, stationary places. Back then, I think they had a photo store. Most places, I used to see photo stores. Where they sell cameras and all. I don't even think you see photo stores anymore. So they had a photo store, they had that kind of stuff. They had a jeweler there, and the jeweler was a good hit. Our first time, obviously if you ever watch any of my videos, I talk about how do you do it. The first thing you look for is, can you get away with it? What's the exit plan? Now, this back side of the store was weird because it was an alleyway. It wasn't like where cars can pass through. There was an alleyway cars can get through, but it wasn't like a transit thing, something like that. It was where they put trash out. So they had enough room for a truck to go back there and pick up their trash, but that's where all it was. It wasn't like a big place where you saw a lot of people sitting and watching and stuff like that. So you couldn't sit and really case back there. Anybody saw you back there looking, right away they're gonna know something's wrong. What's this guy behind this plaza for? There's no reason to be back there at all unless you were back there. It's not like you were walking somewhere, going somewhere or something like that. No, it wasn't like that. So that was a little bit of sketchy on me, but I kept thinking about that and figuring out the times to do the store. Now, the place had a lot of action. There were a lot of people on the streets, a lot of people coming and going, which was good for me. I liked that. But there was no way for me to get in the back, really, and it was really a hard way to get an exit out of that back, especially with cameras and everything else that they had. They did have stuff like that even back then, and I said, wow, this is a little bit sketchy in the back. But the store was worth it, and there was a lot of action out front of the store, which I liked. I always told you, I thought that was always good. The more action, the better you are, because people don't pay attention like you think they do. Now, you don't want to be in their face and run them over or something like that. But on the street itself, they had spots where we come in straight, like just straight, going up the whole way in front of stores. So you could pull in, but you had to pull in straight as well. It wasn't a back in and then you get out, because you back in and it was going a one-way street up that way. So after figuring out, I said, I think I can get this. It didn't have a plaza like I normally like, but it had enough stores that I could sit out front and case the place, like as I'm waiting for my wife in a beauty salon or something like that. So it wouldn't pay, nobody would pay attention to anybody at all sitting in their car reading the paper and just watching. So I said, that's a good way to case this place. So I started casing. The first thing I just did, before even going in the case, checked it out just to see how heavy the traffic, when the best time of the day, stuff of that nature. When did the mailman come? When did the packages get dropped off? When did the neighbors get real busy? When did people on either side do different things? When did they come and go? What time's the store open and stuff like that? Now, this jewelry store, they open at 9 a.m. in the morning, which is good, because I used to like to do them 9 if the sun was right, this was right. Well, this place didn't have to have that. They had display cases. And one of the biggest things I try to tell jewelry store owners is you gotta let people look into this. That makes robbers nervous, anybody nervous. But when you have a display case, and they had a nice display case, because I remember, it had the back with the velvet and the girl and the thing, and they put the necklace around it and this. And they literally, I watched them put the jewelry out in the morning, and they opened it up in the back and then did all that stuff and closed it. It was beautiful. Did both sides. How's that? On the door itself. Now, this store didn't have a buzzer. Some have what they call buzzers, where they buzz you in. That means the owner will carry a buzzer, or they'll have buzzers around the store. A guy knocks on, it doesn't do. They buzz him in if he doesn't look like he's a criminal. I often talk about how a waste they are. They only protect from maybe a smash and grab, a crackhead. If you're in a crack neighborhood or something, or you're in a neighborhood where you're gonna have that smash and grab, and they could happen. And they're gonna come in and just hit the thing and get everything and run, and they're gonna hit you small. Guys like me, the professional, when I was robbing jewelry stores, I liked when they had a buzzer on the door. Because if they had a buzzer on the door, nobody's gonna walk in behind me without me knowing. Now, when a person pulled the door when I was in it, and it was a buzzer, I'd let them in. Now they're in on a robbery. So what? Big deal, just another person to put flex cuffs on. Well, anyway, this store, I says, this looks good. I think I could do this store good. Next step, and I'm with my brother. Now we're doing this store together, just him and I. And I said, okay, we can do this good. Now, we always got in the area. Whenever we stayed in an area, we stayed at a nondescript hotel, like a garbage hotel, motel, whatever you want to call them, under a phony name, paid cash. And when we left that hotel room, we wiped everything down. Totally everything down. They couldn't tell. My fingerprints weren't anywhere. If they even said, oh, there was a guy here and let's go check the room out he stayed at, because they'd look, nothing was there. At that point, nothing was there. Even back then, video camera wasn't as much it is as today. They were around, but not as much as it is today, and they always were on premises. And a lot of places that didn't have like jewelry or something valuable stuff didn't have cameras. They just didn't do it. It's not like today. Everybody has a camera. Everybody has a camera. So moving on. So I said, I think we could do it. Talked to my brother. He's in there. He's just waiting for my go. He pretty much reads the paper, reads or something, watches sports, a sports junkie, and I did a lot of the legwork on these things because I wanted to know what I was facing. So in this case, I did the same exact thing. I end up going in. Now, when I go in, I had my line of bullshit, if you want to call it, why I was in the area. Now, up in the Northeast, they're not looking at me as funny as they do in the South with my accent. I got a New York accent down in North Carolina, or Georgia, or Florida, or something like that. Obviously, what happens? People say, "Oh man, that's what they look. They know. They can figure it out." Up there, it's no. I'm just a regular guy in there. Maybe I work in the area. I checked it out. But I used my same story. Hey, I'm a contractor in the area. I want to upgrade my wife's ring. And the reason I did that is because when I said that, they're looking at me, oh, he wants to upgrade his ring. He has money. He's in the area. I got to get a sale. And they don't break out the bullshit in the cabinet, because they'll come out at first and they'll go, oh, I'll go, what kind of ring you looking for? And I'd say usually like, well, my wife's got a 3/4 carat, a really good ring I paid good money for. And then I'd say something like, can you do something with that if I bring it back? Like, can you put it in a pendant? And of course they want that business to say, sure. I said, but now I'm looking for like a carat and a half, a good one, depending on prices. It's not, I got more money than I did when I was a kid. This is my 10-year anniversary coming up as one of my lines. So they would start talking to you and think they get to know you. And I'm, at this time, watching. He goes and gets a box about that long, that wide, and it's got the envelopes in it of loose stones. Now I'm watching where he gets that box. A lot of times they don't go to the safe to get the box. It's in either another safe, or it's in a floorboard, or it's somewhere down in the back room, something like that. So I watch where he gets it. He comes out with the box. The first question he does, he pulls out a ring. Maybe it's a carat and a half. And I watch where he pulls it out of. So you got a box this long, and if he pulls a carat out of here, right here in the middle, right, not in the middle, more towards this end, and then I go, that's beautiful, show me a carat and a half. If he goes this way, then I know only this part's bigger and it's a less value. This is all bullshit. But if he goes this way, I know this whole area has valuable stones that I'm looking for. Loose stones are the best, obviously. So I'm literally calculating that box in my head of how much that's worth. You can almost count, okay, 10,000, 12,000, 50, 200, it's $250,000 in that box. That's $250,000, okay. Now I'm watching. Now, of course, I looked around already, because when I walked in, I looked like I was just a customer until they started asking questions. Now, all this time, I'm really scouting this place in a deep way. Is there mirrors? Is there a two-way mirror? Is there cameras anywhere? Is there multiple employees? When they're employees, do they ever close together? Because like if they're always together, I could take them both down together. Do they split up? Is one always in the back? Is one a jeweler working and not? Now I learned that by knowing how many people came into store to go to work. So if I see only 2 people go to work, then I know that's it. They don't have anybody. Now, I've been fooled. I've seen somebody come on, because there were 2 days off, and all of a sudden it confused me. When I got confused, it was a no-go. If I wasn't 100% sure of what I was doing, this guy wasn't doing it. This guy had to be sure of his stuff, as much as sure it can be. So at this time, I see there was two people, and there were only 2 people that came in, so I knew them. A lot of times you'll go in and not see the other one. I've actually, in one robbery, I actually went in and asked to use the bathroom in the back after they got to know me. Sure, now I got to see the whole place. But that was the one in Savannah. One of the Georgia stores, I think it was Savannah. But anyway, in this one, I didn't do that. I just looked, I said, okay, I'll be back after I saw everything. He knew who I was now. Now, I was in the store at that time, and I do remember this. Another person came in the store, and that other person took care of him. So I do know they'll come out and take care of you. So if you come in with 2 people, or if there's more than one person in there, they're gonna, you have it. And then nobody's in the back. You already know who comes and goes. You know the time they come, you know what cars they have, you know everything. And there was no parking in the back. There was parking like that, parking for customers. Then they had a parking area in the back, and that's where most of the employees for the stores parked. So it was easy to find out, and you watch them walk from their car, walk right in. I try to explain to people when I teach them now about not getting robbed. Change up your routine, even if it's just going to get a bagel. Change up your time. Use your wife's car one day. Just change things up. People get into such habits. I know this because I live with my mother, an 88-year-old woman, who, boy, is she in her habits, I try not to be like that. I'm sure we all are to a degree, but I try not to get so regimented that I'm losing myself. And that's my goal, and I pretty much am doing that. I think I'm pretty flexible, and I'm pretty, people could talk to me. Not only that, you could change my mind about something, please do. I am open to a lot of things. So I don't believe in, being regimented and being this time frames and stuff. And I'm not. Nobody, you never know when I'm coming and going to my house. Obviously, I don't have a specific job like that. And there's always people here. So it's not like, oh, when are they coming or going? My mom's here, my brother's here, my sister Debbie comes. Teresa's here all the time. People come and go all the time. It's just the way it is in this house. Whether it's people taking care of my mom for medical, whatever. But I digress to that. Back to the robbery. So I knew who was coming and going. So at this robbery, I said, okay. And I do remember also, it was wintertime. So people were in coats. Now, I like that. Now, I still wore like a sport jacket, but then I had a heavy leather coat that went over it. But it looked good. It was really a nice one. It wasn't like I looked like a biker, I looked bad. I was a professional. I always looked professional, no matter what. And why I did that was because that puts them at ease. I didn't have anything on. I used to change my hair parting way, color, goatee. Like that. At that time, I never used to wear a goatee besides sometimes during a robbery, or I'd put one on or put a mustache and they'd shave it right off on my way home when people wouldn't even know. I'd be gone for 3 weeks, have a mustache or a goatee then, and then do the robbery, and they come home and still have nothing. So anybody says, oh, he has a goatee. I never. So people didn't see that. Then they did later. I had them, and then I did the robberies when I didn't. So it's kind of like I switched things up all the time, and always never had I didn't have tattoos like this at all. I had one tattoo, and I used to always wear a long sleeve jacket and stuff like that. And up in the Northeast, that was easy to do because, you know, it didn't look out of place. I mean, if you walked into a place in Florida anytime with a jacket on, they're going to look, okay, something's up here. What has he got under his jacket? But not then. It was just normal. So at the time of the robbery itself, though, I already went in there. They got to know me. So they look like they know you. So the next time I go is when we're going to do the robbery. It's all set. It was a good timing. It was and my thing, it was right after they set up the jewelry. Now, they got in about 8:30. By the time they set up, it was 9:30. I said, if I hit this robbery before 10 a.m., it's good because the other stores aren't busy where there's so many people that it's bad. But the people are working, doing their own business. People aren't looking for me. They ain't looking for people because I had to come in the front door. Remember that. Now, before I did it, the robbery itself, we would go around and we would look for a car, somewhat, whatever it is, and we'd take the plate off that car. We'd literally steal the plate. It could be in a parking lot. It could be just go up to the plate and steal it. That's it. Take the plate. Usually it's the state plate, like it was if we're in here, you know, from Florida, it'd be a Florida plate. If it was Connecticut, it was a Connecticut plate. Now, mind you, I already had my exact exit plan all planned. I ran the route multiple times. Literally, from the time, during that time I used to run it to when I would leave a store after casing it, I did it usually thinking about the time I'm going to leave. So I would know how much traffic was there. Is there cops in the area? Somebody coming? Does the cops do a patrol around here at this time? Always knew my area and knew the ways and multiple ways to leave. Like if you were going and you heard sirens on, you know, from a street coming to the left, you're not going to go up that street. You're going to make a right or something of that nature. So you always had multiple outs, but you had your main exit. And where are you going to change your plate? Now remember, I robbed the plate the night before. So at the hotel, checked out, cleaned the whole place, done. And in those places, you didn't have to check out. You know, you don't have to go in and say, I'm checking out. They just, boom, you drop the key in a box. That was it. You paid cash. You had a fake name. Not a word. Nobody knows anything for that matter. So now you take your plate, you switch your plate. Now you got a Connecticut plate. You're ready to rob because right now you got a robbed plate on. You better not get stopped by the cops. That's number one. Now I have my whole outfit ready. My outfit had my pillowcase in there, my flex cuffs, my rubber gloves I always kept. I had extra flex cuffs, extra rubber gloves, and my pillowcases. I had my BB gun in the back, and it looked exactly like a gun. Exactly. I think I showed it on one of them. I'm going to show it again sometime. But it looked exactly like a gun. So I have my BB gun right here, and now my brother sets himself up, looks good, does everything right, has all his equipment. When I walked into the store, now they're expecting me. I mean, not expecting me, they see me coming and say, oh! And when I pull the door, you know, it's a pull door, I didn't pull it with fingerprints, I'd pull it with my knuckles. Literally my knuckles. So I'd open the door and I'd walk in, I'd know the guy's name already, I forget his name, but whatever his name. Hey Mike, how you doing? Hey, this is my buddy here, he works for me on the job, he wanted to see what I was gonna buy. No, he's looking, maybe someone could show him what's going on. That's when the other person comes out. Now, when that other person comes out, I'm the key. I'm the one that says go. Because the first thing I'm doing, I'm not robbing that store when they're near a buzzer or they have their hands in their pockets. Something I don't know if there's a buzzer. When they're comfortable, a little bit off and not paying attention, and I, out of corner of my eye, see him dealing, I jump. I remember jumping this counter. The minute I jumped the counter, my bro jumps the counter, we got them down. Boom! Within seconds, they are on the ground. We didn't touch a thing now, remember that. On the ground they are. We flex cuff them screaming, don't move, don't even open your eyes, don't do a thing. Because I never gagged anybody. I didn't want anybody to die accidentally or anything. Close your eyes, if I see your eyes open, I'll shoot you. Said a lot of bad things like that. Scared a lot of people. Obviously they didn't. I would tell them to point their head that way and don't move. And they would. They'd point it towards the cabinet and not move and hope I get out of there. The minute they do that, they're both down, we both up, boom, our gloves are on. That's the most important thing, the gloves go on. Once the gloves are on, boom, now you take out your pillowcase and I would direct traffic. Get these, get the cabinets, bro. Never did we break cabinets. You didn't have to. You had either keys on them, you take and you open it, or some of them are already open. Some people didn't even open, they'd open them all during the day and just leave them. Depending on the areas you're in this, you just take the key and open it, bring it all in. And you can watch the door at all times. You're watching the door. You look good, so it's not like you look like a criminal. It's not like a face mask over your head or anything of that nature. This place did have a recording machine. I took the VCR tape with me. I remember this store a lot because I also took one of my famous clocks. I think I showed you this. You know, I know it's a weird thing. I used to take a clock or something like that out of every store. Look how old this clock is. This is a clock that I took out of that store. Wow, how many years ago? And I remember that because I remember putting it in the bag, and it's pretty big in the bag. And I always did that at the end though, and that was on a shelf going out of the place. We had to go out the front. So when you had to go out the front, it's not like you're out in the back and you're gonna go back and get it. Oh yeah, I took a clock. It was just something stupid of mine, you know, call it what it is. I think they'd call me, you know, I need a trophy or whatever it is, Sykes would call that. But anyway, we put them down, we have them. I do get the box. I knew where the box was. I knew where the tape was. The machine is right in the back where the office is. I took the machine, throw it in, not the whole machine, the tape. Back then it was VCR machines, I know. There was no off-site monitoring, there's a lot of this kind of stuff. So I take the thing, put everything, I got Jewel's, the box, everything's in my bag. Everything's in my brother's bag. When we're ready to go, we wait at the door, right at the door, and I give the go, because I look up and down, make sure there's just not somebody that close. It could be way up, walking the other way is even better. And I walked, I remember there was nobody, it was a winter day, it was cold. We just walked like we were taking garbage out almost. We just walked, threw it in the trunk, boom, didn't rush, didn't kill it, didn't race, got in the car, gone. We had our place planned where we're gonna switch the plate. Now there we got right on the highway, you got on 95. And on 95, they had a couple of spots where you can get off and just change the plate. They have rest stops a lot of the places. That's in Florida and stuff, but there wasn't a rest stop. We had to find a spot where it was quick enough I could take and change the plate. Once we did that, anything we had, the jacket that I had on was put in the back. Everything was so you'd look different. Just like even that. Sometimes I would even have my brother lay down, so I'm now one person in the car, not two. But we did not do that this time. We knew we were out clean, and we knew they were in there, so it's gonna be a little bit before they can get APBs and everything else, and they have no idea what car we're riding or anything, so now it's a crapshoot. What are they gonna do? So after that, it was like you know, the adrenaline hits you afterwards. Now you got two things in the back of the trunk. You don't even think about them. You don't even think about the jewelry in the trunk. You don't go look at it. You don't do anything. You end up going back to, this was easy because we had to go to New York. So I was in New York in about 2 hours. I don't even know if it was that. I mean, I was pretty quick. We were in New York. Once I got to my place, I did everything. I got my stuff. It was, you know, party time. And it was funny because doing that robbery, I thought, you know, am I too close to New York? Should have I not do it? You know, because when they tell you don't rob in New York, they're really meaning, you know, I'm talking about the mob now, your family, your group, people that you work with. When they say don't rob in New York, they're kind of telling you don't rob anywhere where we got people that somebody else might own that store and you got to give it back or you got to have a sit down or what's going on. Well, this was far enough out of New York. It was in Connecticut that I thought I was clean, and I was, to do what I robbed. Because I actually told them where I did. I said, I got this out of Connecticut. Okay. I mean, I would never say in New York. Obviously, I wouldn't do it. I never push the rules like that. The minute you do that, you're going to get in trouble. You really will. And that's not the way to do it, guys. That's just not the way to do it. To be professional the way I was, you had to be very, very disciplined, very organized, smart. And please, I am not recommending you do even close to that. In fact, don't do anything. Don't do crime. It did not pay. You all know I lost my son and my daughter, and I lost all their early years as children because of my bad choices. With that said, I was and still am known as the biggest jewel robber for a reason, because I knew what I was doing. Now, I wanted to explain this robbery because I don't think I explained a robbery like from up north and why I did it. And when I was looking at the clock, I saw the clock and I said, I gotta talk about that robbery. With that said, guys, thank you very much. Please, if you like what we're doing, please subscribe. Please pass these on. Go to my playlist. Gangster Redemption will open your eyes in a big way. Please do something nice for somebody once in a while. And I mean opening a door for an old lady or carrying her bags or doing something. Help someone. It'll make you feel better. I know it makes me feel better. Have a great day. Thank you for being a subscriber. Thank you, please, for watching. Please stay safe. Live your life. Have a great day, everybody.